Hello everyone. We'll wait a few minutes before starting to let everyone connect smoothly. Just a few more seconds and then we'll begin. All right. Hello everyone and thank you for being here today. I'm Margot from the marketing team at Filigran. Today we are diving into OpenCTI integrations, and leading this session I'm happy to introduce Lucas, head of the customer success team, and Hélène, engineering manager integration.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
If you're new to our community calls, here's a quick recap. These are live events where we answer questions from our community. You can always submit your question in advance, and you also have a chat section on the right of your screen to ask us anything at any time. We will start with a question we received, then we'll move on to live questions from the chat. Okay, let's get started. First, we wanted to do a quick reminder of the different types of connectors in OpenCTI. Hélène, floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks Margot for the intro. Now everyone knows who's pulling the string behind the integrations team. For this first part of the session, I'd like to give you a brief overview of the different types of connectors and the OpenCTI ecosystem. So OpenCTI allows organizations to easily ingest, enrich, or import-export data through integrations called connectors. And to achieve the best integration with OpenCTI, there are a few key points to consider before getting started. The integration will vary based on the type of connector you want to create. And in OpenCTI, there are 5 main types of connectors available according to their functionalities and use case. You will have the external import connectors, which retrieve threat intelligence from external sources, converted into sticks 2.1 bundles that will be sent to a message queue, then imported into OpenCTI using workers. And you have the data enrichment connectors that will add context to existing intelligence. It's a connector that will be triggered to search for the object in external organizations, applications, or services. And if found, the connector will generate a sticks 2.1 bundle to enhance the triggered entity, usually unobservable. And this type of connector is also used with our playbook. You also have stream connectors. A stream connector is linked to an OpenCTI platform's live stream and continuously processing incoming events. They are primarily used to consume OpenCTI data and integrated into third-party platforms like SIEMs, XARs, and EDRs. They ensure that intelligence is actively distributed where it is needed for automated response and security monitoring. And then export and import files connectors that will extract and ingest information from uploaded files into OpenCTI, or allow the extraction of information from OpenCTI into various file formats, such as CSV or JSON. And on the next slide, you will see a lot of logos. Our ecosystem is diverse, and we are proud to have integrations with renowned companies like CrowdStrike. It's difficult to say. The NIST CVE database, our recorded future for external import connectors, VirusTotal, or Shodan for enrichment, as well as Google SecOps or Arfan Lab for streaming. So take a few seconds to admire the beautiful diagram Margot have made. Thank you, Margot, by the way.
Thank you, Hélène. You can take a screenshot if you want. I'm very proud of this slide. Okay, so let's move to the second question, which is, how can we create and deploy a connector? And if a connector isn't available in the repository, how can we request one tailored to our specific needs? Actually, we've received quite a few questions on this topic, so Hélène will go over it in detail.
Yeah, of course, I take this one too. So it's a good question here. I don't see you, but I know some of you are nodding your heads. Some of you are already familiar with our connectors repository, so this may serve as a reminder or an update for you. For those who want to contribute and help us expand the OpenCTI ecosystem, especially by providing analysts with more integrations and richer data sources, there are many ways to get involved. And today I will talk about creating and developing connectors, and I will give you some tips and advice if you'd like to contribute to our project. Since our products are open source, anyone can contribute to OpenCTI connectors. To develop a connector, you have to start by defining the use case. Ask yourself, what do I want to achieve with this connector? Do you want to ingest data from a certain source or enrich existing data? So this kind of question will help you to define the connector type. Our connectors are built using Python, and you know what? We provide templates for each type of connector. Margot have shared with you the link. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And so once you have identified your use case and selected the connector type, you'll find a script in the connector templates folder to create your connector repository in the right location. So just run it and see the magic happen. To make things easier for you and for us, we've included full documentation with step-by-step details in the templates folder about how to run the script. Our connector uses the OpenCTI connector SDK called PyCTI. It's a helper library. PyCTI is the official Python client for OpenCTI. It's designed to simplify interactions between the OpenCTI platform with the OpenCTI platform. The second part, test and improve. Some points I'd like to say for this part. Remember to test your connector in multiple scenarios to catch potential issues early. Implementing solid error handling and logging will make debugging easier, helping you identify problems faster and saving time. This also makes it easier to refactor your code for better performance and ensures that the connector meets all requirements. And of course, share with the community. Submit your connector to us with a pull request, and we encourage you to provide clear documentation. This will help the community understand its use case, expected behavior, functionalities, and any known issues. Your effort will make it easier for others to understand and leverage your work effectively. So I hope everything is clear. You can reach us on Slack. It will be a pleasure for us to talk with you. And we can go on to the next question, Margot.
Thank you, Hélène. Okay, next question. What is the best way to use the MISP connector? And this one is for you, Lucas.
Yes. I won't say that we have a best way to use a MISP connector. You can use it differently based on your needs, based on what you want to fetch. The MISP connector is quite flexible. You have lots of parameters that will allow you to choose what you want to ingest and how do you want to ingest it. So based on the information that you want to fetch, you will have to define the parameters accordingly. If you want to get everything, basically you will have nothing to do. The only parameters that you can play with is the date. So you can define the date for on which date you will base the connector to fetch information. You can define which attribute on MISP you want to use for that. I don't have in mind all the days, possible date. You will have to dig inside the MISP documentation. But in any case, I will recommend you to let the date that we use by default. By default, I know that we use a timestamp key, which is the last modification date. You should be able to leverage the publication date of the event. That should be published timestamp or something like this. You should be also able to use a creation date, but I will not recommend you to use it, as you can have you can have an event that you would create several weeks and even months before the event gets actually published. So I will not recommend to use the creation date. Otherwise, if you need to filter what you will ingest, you have several parameters for that. You can filter on the creator of the event. For all the parameters, you can have a kind of blacklist and whitelist parameters. So you can import only these orgs, or as the opposite, import everything except these orgs. So you have the possibility to filter on the creator orgs. So it's a list of orgs identifiers. You can filter on the owner orgs. And I think you can filter also on tags or on an event ID to avoid ingesting a specific object. One of the problems with the MISP connector is I know that some people are using MISP in a way that they have at the end big MISP event. Instead of creating a new MISP event, they are continuously accumulating IOCs on an existing MISP event. And so at some point you will end with a very big MISP event that will be imported in your platform. And this could be annoying. So all the parameters that you have on the connector can allow you to filter out this MISP event. So yeah, no best way, just several parameters and flexibility that you can leverage to fit your need. If you have further questions, don't hesitate to ask in the chat. We will answer it.
Yeah, thank you, Lucas. The next question is, how can we maximize CrowdStrike? You're right, Hélène, it's very difficult to say CrowdStrike ingestion in OpenCTI and create correlations.
Yeah. Yeah, I start. We got two questions here. To maximize CrowdStrike ingestion, you can achieve this using the OpenCTI CrowdStrike connector for OpenCTI, which imports intelligence from the Filigran platform via its Intel APIs. This allows you to bring in data on threat actor indicators, reports, and ERR rules. Keep in mind that the available data depends on your CrowdStrike Filigran subscription. You can filter data that you import by using filters on a specific scope. For example, having only actors or having only IOCs, the type of report you want, inter reports or periodic reports. You can filter on labels or scores for indicators, etc. You also can filter on a specific date, but you must to be careful about that because a lot of indicators can be pulled if you choose a date, a far date. So another way to maximize the ingestion is to split the connector for best usage. For example, ingestion speed can slow down when errors are imported due to the large volume of data. And a workaround can be the following: set up 2 separate CrowdStrike connectors, each dedicated to specific scopes. It allows you to manage a high data volume without interfering with ingestion of other scope data. I hope I have answered this part of the question. Luca, I let you complete with how to create correlations.
Yeah, sure. So the correlation, something that you have to understand is the correlation is done at the platform level, not at the connector level. The goal of the connector will be to get data, parse it, and modelize the sticks object. And the modelization will play a big role on the correlation, but the correlation will be on the platform. So when you will create information, could be with CrowdStrike or with anything else, you have to create relationship between the entities, and all these relationships will allow you to consolidate your data. So by consolidate, I mean you will be able to link lots of information to have a big graph of knowledge that allow you to pivot on object, to have an overview of the situation. So the main point here is the modelization. So if the connector is modelizing properly the information, creating the right relationship, at the end in the platform, the correlation will be done automatically. You will be able to leverage the platform functionalities to see the correlation between reports or to be able to pivot on object. But the correlation is done at the platform level, not on the connector side.
Thank you both for this answer. It was very complete. The next one is, how is OpenCTI typically integrated into a SOC? And what added value does it bring?
So the OpenCTI platform can be leveraged for different usage, and the SOC use case is one of those. The two main aspects of OpenCTI integration into a SOC will be, on the one hand, the dissemination, the IOC management and dissemination. So you will be able to integrate the platform with your detection system to feed them with your IOCs that you're gathering through all your sources like CrowdStrike or MISP, as we talk about this one. So the first part will be dissemination of IOCs, and the second part will be after the alert. So when you have an alert, OpenCTI will allow you to qualify them. The added value with OpenCTI is quite clear. On the first aspect is you will be able to leverage all the functionalities of OpenCTI. The integration to feed your detection system will be based on live stream and stream consumer connector. It means that the dissemination will be in real time. Each time that you will have a new indicator on your platform, you will push it inside your detection system. So you will not lose any time in terms of you will reduce the mean time of detection. Thanks to that, the advantage of this also is that you will have the synchronization between your OpenCTI platform and your detection system, in the sense that if you're updating or removing an indicator on your OpenCTI platform, the stream consumer connector will act on the detection system to update or remove the detection system, the IOCs, sorry. So all the functionality like the lifecycle management in OpenCTI will be replicated on the other side. You can gather and manage everything on OpenCTI, sanitize the database, make sure that you have a proper lifecycle applied. And on the detection system, you don't have to manage anything. Everything will be managed by the OpenCTI platform and the stream consumer connector. So you can fit different systems based on the same rule, because everything will be on OpenCTI. You will not have to configure all your detection system with the different rules that are available on each one and so on. So that's the first added value. And the second added value on the qualification of the alert is when you have an alert, you can see the indicators that raised this alert, but most of the time that's it. If you're qualifying the alert on OpenCTI, as you are in the place where your knowledge stands, you will be able directly to see the information that are related to this indicator. So you will be able to see if you have any threat related to this indicator, if you have any activity that has been reported with this specific indicators, if it's linked to the infrastructure of CrowdStrike or a specific another specific malware. So the qualification of the alert will be very efficient. You will just have to open the indicator in the platform to see all the information related to it that you already have, that all your intelligence sources gathered for you. And this will also allow you to speed on the reaction on the alert. So you will quickly know if it's something that you have to act on, if you have to escalate, or if it's something that, okay, it's not really relevant, or even it's false positive. And make sure that you are not losing time on irrelevant alert, and make sure that you will act quickly on the relevant one.
Thank you, Luca. It was great. The next one, okay, is a specific integration required for the automatic creation of incidents in OpenCTI?
Yeah, I start. So the way I understand it, it's to have a connector that creates automatically incidents in OpenCTI. We don't have any connector for that, but we do have connectors that create incidents from alerts, for example. It really depends on your needs. So Luca, maybe you can give an example on that?
Yeah, indeed, it will depend on how we understand the question. In terms of intelligence, I don't see any intelligence provider creating incident. The incident will be created by stream connector or the connector with the detection system to modelize alerts, as Hélène said. If the question is more, okay, how can I transform or turn something into an incident, we don't have this kind of connector. I know that we have a customer working on this. The use case of the customer is they are monitoring the activities from different actors, depending of the situation. And for some activities, they want to modelize them as incident for to be able then to have dashboard on them and so on. And for this use case, what they are developing at this moment is to create an enrichment connector that will act on a report. This enrichment connector will get all the elements contained in the report, create an incident, create relationship with all the contained elements of the report, and fine-tuning a bit some details. But the enrichment connector will act as a translator to turn a report into an incident. So it will depend of what was behind this question. If you need to transform something, you can create your own enrichment connector that will be here to act as a bridge between two different entity type. And if it was to ingest intelligence, my question for you would be more, which intelligence would you modelize as an incident from an intelligence provider? In my opinion, the incident is more to trace alerts.
Thank you, Luca. Okay, next one. Can OpenCTI be integrated with Wazuh to generate alerts based on IOCs from OpenCTI? If so, how does this integration work?
So I don't know well Wazuh as a SIEM. I know that we don't have any connector with Wazuh at this moment. If any connector should be developed, it should be a stream consumer connector, as I think you understood. This is a connector type uses to feed your detection system, but at this moment it doesn't exist. Otherwise, several detection system have the capability to ingest information from, I would say, generic mechanism like taxi collection or CSV feed. If it's the case, you can leverage the built-in mechanism in OpenCTI. In OpenCTI, you can create taxi collection. I know that some CM like Radar can, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe Logarithm can ingest taxi collection. Maybe Wazuh can also. So you will be able to integrate Wazuh like this. Otherwise, you have the CSV feed. So you will expose a CSV on a URL. Several firewall can ingest information like this. I don't know for OCM, and I don't know for Wazuh. It's another possibility. If you don't have any generic sharing mechanism to do that, the last solution will be to create a stream consumer connector. In any case, creating a stream consumer connector will be more efficient than a taxi collection or than a CSV feed, as explained when I answered the question on the SOC use case. If you have a stream consumer connector, it's in real time, and you're leveraging all the capacities of OpenCTI, like the lifecycle management, the sanitization of your IOC's database. So in any case, having a dedicated stream consumer connector for Wazuh could be a good option, even if you have a taxi capability on Wazuh.
Thank you, Luca. Sorry, I lost my screen for a moment, but it's okay now. So next question.
No problem.
This one is quite long, and I'm not sure to pronounce everything correctly, so sorry in advance. Can the EPSS connector be switched to an external import for faster bug processing via a 2 MB CSV? The current method takes more than 24 hours, and if so, when will this change happen?
That's a good question. So it's not planned at all at this moment. It's the first time that we heard this feedback. Maybe if it's CSV, I don't know how you can get it, but if you can get the CSV through a URL, and again I don't know how the CSV is structured, maybe you can ingest the CSV directly with the CSV feature to ingest information. So on OpenCTI you have a CSV feed to expose a CSV file. I just mentioned that 1 minute ago for Wazuh, but you can do the opposite. If you have a CSV exposed on URL, you can ingest it, and thanks to the CSV mapper, you can map the different columns of the CSV to ingest your file accordingly. So if the CSV is exposed on an URL, and depending of the structure of the CSV, maybe you can leverage this feature instead of creating a dedicated connector for that. If not, it will not be the existing connector that we will turn into an import one, because it's still interesting to have an enrichment connector for that. If you want to refresh a specific vulnerability right now, you can. But yeah, I can understand that it could be interesting to have an import connector to ingest everything every day, like you mentioned. So for that, it will be a new connector that will manage it. The goal of the connector will be to get the file, parse it in sticks format for every vulnerability. So I guess every line of the file, and ingest it so as any other import connector. Again, it's not planned. First time that we heard about that. If you want to participate on it and work on it, so again, you will be more than welcome.
Thank you, Luca. Before we jump, before we jump into the chat section, here's our next event. So in March, we are launching our first webinar series. This will focus on on how to use OpenCTI Enterprise Edition to empower your cybersecurity teams. It runs from March 4 to March 6, and I will drop the link to register in the chat if you're interested. Then at the end of March, we're hosting a meetup in France. So if you're in Paris or in the area, we'd love to meet you. More details are coming soon, so stay tuned. And finally, our next community call will be all about open days, recent features, updates, and what's coming next. So be sure to follow us on LinkedIn or to join the community to get notified when registration opens. Okay, I don't see any question in the chat, so if you have some, that's the moment to send us anything.
Don't be shy. No dumb question.
No, because everything is clear, I guess.
Yeah, you covered everything. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think we can end this session. If something comes to your mind in the coming hours or days, don't hesitate to send us a message on Slack. And once again, thank you for joining us today. And we wish you a great day or a great evening. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.